It's now time to check in with CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day, who is also the editor of CoinDesk State of Crypto newsletter, which makes a perfect Mother's Day gift. Mother's Day is just around the corner. You make sure to subscribe, Mom and in-laws and everybody else to this. Good morning, Nick.
Hey, good morning.
So this week's incredible installment, you guys are talking about stablecoins. Specifically the House Financial Services Committee having some legislation going on there. What do we know so far?
Yeah, so this is kind of what we talked about on Monday. Basically, there is a hearing today in less than 20 minutes, I believe, where the House Financial Services Committee is going to talk about stablecoins and how to legislate around them. Part of that is the bill that was dropped last weekend that kind of outlines stablecoins. This is the same bill that a bipartisan group of lawmakers worked on last year. Now, it doesn't seem, it seems like it's the exact same version. So, doesn't seem like a whole lot of work has happened since then, but it's a starting point. And I think we'll probably hear of it as a starting point during the hearing. The big question, I think, is whether or not it has any support in the Senate, because obviously for it to become a law, it has to get support in the Senate. So far, it doesn't look like it really does.
Nick, when is the earliest that this could become a law? If that were to even happen.
It's one of those hard things to guess, right? Because first off, it's just been introduced. It doesn't even have an official sponsor yet, I think. So, for it to become a law, you need to have a sponsor. You need to have enough support in the committee to get it out of committee. You need to have enough support in the House to get it out of the House. You need the same thing that happened in the Senate, and then it would go to the president's desk. But it would take months under the best of circumstances, and right now it doesn't look like it has the support needed.
And Nick, who are the other stakeholders driving it? Because if there is these legislators in the House and not too much support, as you said, in the Senate, then who could you count on? Who could you think about who is, let's say, pushing it through this parliamentary Congress process all the way to the president's desk? And what are the other global factors that might influence that?
Well, last year, this bill was something that Congresswoman Maxine Waters and Congressman Patrick McHenry, who at the time were the respective chair and ranking member of the committee, they've switched roles now. At the time, they were the ones who were working on it, so they were spearheading this. My understanding is now what we've heard and what CoinDesk has learned is that right now it doesn't look like any real bipartisan work has happened at all since last year. So, right now you could say that it's primarily the Republicans on the committee who are introducing this and who are going to talk about it. As far as the global factor goes, the whole stablecoin legislation debate in the U.S. and I think around the world really kind of kicked off back in 2019 when Facebook, or the company formerly known as Facebook, unveiled Diem, the stablecoin formerly known as Libra. And a lot of what we've seen has come as a response to that. So I don't... as far as I can tell, there hasn't been a whole lot of, global coordination on, the specific bill. But obviously it is an issue that regulators around the world are looking at and coming at from different angles.
All right. Okay. A final question then. What can we expect out of this hearing in terms of just what's the point of it? If we already know that the Senate is not supporting it, if, like yesterday's hearing was a bit confusing because we didn't get an answer to a simple question, right?
I think if we had gotten an answer, the industry would probably be in a much more panicked state right now to that simple question. I think the hearing today, what we're going to be listening for, on the one hand, what are the actual companies in this sector looking at? How are they approaching things right now? So obviously Circle's Dante Despart is one of the witnesses. He'll, I imagine, speak to that. I'm also really curious what's happening on the state level. The NYDFS's Adrian Harris is one of the speakers. And, obviously states have been kind of not doing their own thing, but the state level efforts have been pretty much independent of the federal efforts. So, is there a clash there? I would say, even assuming that this bill had a clear shot right to the president's desk, this hearing is the first in this Congress. It's going to be the first of many, I think. So even then, it still would be a kind of hearing where the idea is to get a sense of just what the state of affairs is right now, and what are the questions that need to be addressed by legislation, and hopefully that is what we're going to hear about.
All right. Well, thanks so much for that, Nick. That was CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor, Nick Day, and he has written a fantastic piece. If you want to know more about this stablecoin legislation, it is obviously, as always, on the State of Crypto newsletter on CoinDesk.com.